6. As y'all can see, I qualified in 7th place. Martinsville's a smaller track, half mile. It's going to be a 65 lap race. You can do 3 laps per minute, so it'll go by pretty quick, probably be a 20-minute. And at the end, I will give you guys my setup. So let's go ahead and get this thing rolling here. 7th place position. I'm going to mute up for 1 second just to make sure my volume's good. Y'all can see a real battle here. Y'all can see on my board a 2 gear. I'm sitting in 2nd gear right now. At Martinsville, some of the shorter tracks, I really like 2 gear setups. You burn your tires up pretty quick, but if you know what to do with your cambers, these setups I give you guys, they're more for a league race. This is a 19.3. I think my best lap in this race was a 19.4, but traffic was terrible. Still a 105 speed rating. We're working our way behind Joey Logano right now, up to 130 on corner entry. That's that 2 gear. You just you get so much speed up off the corner. You just got to be really careful with your throttle control. I'll show you all a few tips that I do for Martinsville after the race. But as we know, Kyle Busch has been dominating this season. Me and him are really close in the points, but he has 1 more win than I do, and I think a few more playoffs points. So I am trying to stay as close as I can to Kyle Busch, as there's about 12 laps to go in stage 1, and I'm really having to work the throttle. As you can see, get really loose coming off the corner there, because this track, you hit the throttle just a little too much, you're going for a ride. Martinsville, just like road courses, I like to take my throttle sensitivity all the way down. I bump up the brake sensitivity just a hair. I'm on new pedals, really stiff, 60 pounds in the brakes. So I turn mine up to halfway. So you want to just let it float down there at the bottom around the corners and just let it roll without hitting that red and white cushion, because it'll send you up the track. Just being patient right now, because you can see my car is on 3 times wear. We're already on lap 8, with about 8 to go to the end of stage 1, and the tires are already starting to wear on 3 times wear, and I do not want to take Kyle Busch out, make enemies, so I had to lock them up again right here. Really hard to pass on the outside at Martinsville, getting really loose off the corner. I think need to come down the rear track bar a little to fix that. I'll show y'all whenever I give you guys the setup. But setup really starts to come in, you know, a little bit later in the run. I'm running about 19.4s, 19.5s consistently. But I think my best lap was like a 19.42 in this race. But I have hit 19.3s with this setup. Just running with the AI, it's just really difficult unless you're out front. As you can see right now, I'm just having to follow Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick and wait for them to make a mistake as we're coming to 6 to go. 5 to go there at the line to the end of stage 1. These laps go really quick here at Martinsville. 16-second laps. It does not take long, almost 4 laps per minute. Kind of giving Kyle Busch a little bit of nudge, letting him know, hey man, I think I got a faster car than you, but I don't want to run him over, or Harvick. So I kind of start creeping to the outside so I don't run into him, but I noticed Logano really creeping up in my corner, in my mirror there, and so I had to get back down the bottom. Like I said, just let it roll. You hear me get back in the throttle. This is in 2nd gear here. You just let that thing rip. You'll see red marks on the walls. That's what I use here at Martinsville for my braking point. In turn 1, it's going to be on the outside right there. That's your braking point. And then when you come on the back stretch, the red mark on the inside wall is where you want to start braking. Braking is really important at this track. I'm glad I got my new pedal set before I was done this race. It's made a huge difference. Instead of you barely touching the brakes and they go to the floor, These brakes, like I said, they got anywhere, you can adjust them from anywhere from 30 pounds to 90 pounds of pressure. I found that 60 to 50 is really good, as we're coming to 2 laps to go here in the end of stage 1, and we're working our way through lap traffic. We got around Kyle Busch. Lap traffic kind of held him up. Got around Kevin Harvick as well. We're actually up front, 3 wide with Ryan Newman, Tyler Reddick right there in front of us. I believe with 1 to go, 2 at the most to the end of the stage. I kind of like Tyler Reddick. Don't really want to put him a lap down, but my car starts getting loose off battling with him. As you can see, I hit the apron, had to hit the brakes to not roll up into him as we're working our way through lap traffic and get really loose on exit. Really loose, but that's the end of the stage. So I just be easy. Stage 1 finish. We're going to put a few points on Kyle Busch. Like I said, I got the AI set at 105. Like a 7th place starting place is really good with these guys like that. You can lead laps, it's really good. You lead a stage, win a stage, it's even better. But here we go for the restart of stage 2. Everybody took 4 tires and fuel, and we're on lap 20 of 65. But as you see, I'm trying to stay out of Kyle Busch down there, bumping off that cushion down there. Not something you want to do, but diving it in deep on him. But he kind of pinches us down, getting a really good run on the outside. These new tires got a little bit of better feel on the exit. You almost got to have your wheel, I'm on a wheel, turned back towards the wall, because if you have it turned to the left, your car just come right around. That's where that throttle sensitivity comes in. Like I said, you put the setup in and that I give you guys, and if your throttle sensitivity is not set right, it's not going to work. You can see we've worked our way to the lead here in stage 2. That's where your car just feels really good. If you make no mistakes, it's going to be really hard for Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, any of them guys to come back up there and pass you, because it is very hard to pass on the outside. We're coming to about 12 to go to the end of stage 2. Kevin Harvick is just hanging right there. We're just going to try to be really consistent right here, try to stay off that red and white cushion down there, because it will send you up the track, and just be really, really consistent right now. As you can see, the wheels are turned hard. Kevin Harvick hanging with us, though. Let's see if we can get a camera angle from behind here, as these guys, you know, 1 of 5, even if you got a really good setup, they do not play. They are really fast. That's what we wanted. We didn't want to just go out there and just... when I get to the playoffs, I want this to be like real life. Have to drive as hard as I can to win the race, or, you know, make the round of 8, make the round of 4. You know, it's been like that all season. I've only had 1 win so far, and that was at Daytona. Atlanta, I finished 4th, I believe. Las Vegas 4th. I think I even 4th last night at Auto Club. But today might be a different story, as we actually pull a little bit of gap on Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick back there. As you can see, Kyle's trying to work on Kevin for 2nd. But right now they're all trying to catch me. As a little bit of adjustment I made there in stage 2 really helped my car stay down there on the bottom. I'm not getting as loose off in the corner. And we're coming to about 6 to go to the end of the stage, maybe even less. Feel like I have a really good race car right now, and thinking I might lap these guys. But like I said, back on onboard here, got that wheel turned really hard. I wish you guys could see. 2nd gear, you can see there, that's all I run here at Martinsville, and even Richmond, in fact. I try to make 2 gear setups. If you do your cambers and your tires right, you will not burn them off. You just get so much. I'll let you guys listen to the throttle. I mean, how much pickup you got off the corner. Not all the way to 9,000 on the brakes. And that's what I try to make my setups to, where I get all the way to 9,000 RPM at my braking point or my let-off point. But coming to about 4 to go here. lap traffic, I'm really not concerned about lapping anybody at this point. I've done lapped a few guys. My main thing is staying ahead of Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, especially Kyle Busch. He has been a really dominant force in our championship mode. I've had a 105 speed rating, I think, every race but one, and that's because I couldn't get a good enough draft off the AI for some reason. I think it was a 104. Like I said, 4 to go, and right in front of me again is one of my favorite drivers, Tyler Reddick. So I'm just trying to ride behind him to not put him a lap down. But that's going to be difficult to do because, I mean, we got Paul Menard. I mean, a lot of guys in a clump right there, as we've actually won stage 2 and only have about 30 laps left to the end of the stage. So this Martinsville race, 65 laps seems like a lot, but it is not when you're cutting 15, 16-second laps that go by so quick. 3 times where everybody decides to take tires. A very smart move. Kevin Harvick to our outside, Kyle Busch right behind us. They're going to be really aggressive because there's only going to be about 30 to go. Here we're going to restart. Shift 1 time in the second. Leave it alone. Stay off of that apron. And so here we'll get a side-by-side view. You can see I get a little loose off. I went down the wedge a little bit to loosen it up, and kind of hurt me here in stage 3. My car, you see, gets a little loose. I had to let off right there, and I'm just trying to battle. I know it's going to be hard for Kevin to pass me as long as I'm consistent, running 19.5, 19.6s even. It's going to be hard for him to pass on the outside. So I'm just trying to stick in the bottom, be real consistent. As y'all can see, Kyle Busch made his way up to second place. He has been a force to be reckoned with all year, as I'm not doing my job holding it down there, and I'm getting loose, so I have to let off, overcorrect a little bit, and I fall all the way back to second, almost third. Have to get on the brakes hard as Truex dive bombs Kevin Harvick back there. I get really loose again. Like I said, guys, I took too much wedge out of this thing. I went down way too much, so I really had to be really careful. One thing I was able to do, I'm on a Thrustmaster. I was able to change my steering radius from about 270 up to 500 right here in the middle of the race. Right there I decided, you know what, 270 is not going to work. Let me switch back to 500. As you can see, Kyle Busch, he's been a force all year, like I said, and he has done walked off with 25 to go. Right now I'm starting to get worried. He has 1 more win than I do. I think I have a few more points than he does. But it is a really tight battle between me and him for the points lead right now. So I'm just trying to be really patient. Hopefully he makes a mistake. There's a long ways to go. There's still 24 laps to the end of the race. So right now, as you can see, once I turn my wheel to 500 degrees, now we're not getting so loose off. On 270, your wheels turned any amount coming off the corner, it just wants to come around on you. And when I give you guys the setup at the end of the race, I will go over the settings for Martinsville as well. It's almost like a road course. You have to take your throttle sensitivity down, your brake sensitivity up. At least I do, because, like I said, my new pedals have like 60 pounds of pressure in them. With them being all the way down, you have to just, it's so much force you have to put on them until I work them in a little bit. But right now, we're starting to catch up to Kyle Busch a little. And 3 times where his tires might be falling off a little. Coming to 20 to go when we cross the line. So if we can gain a 10th, you know, every lap, as I believe lap 46 was my fastest lap of the race with a 19.421, I believe, something right in there. But I really started catching a groove. Martinsville is really about all about being consistent and trying to hit that same lap over and over and over every lap. Like I said, you see that red mark on the outside wall? That's my braking point. Since there's nobody beside me, I kind of like diamonding the corners like I do on short tracks, but when I got traffic beside me, I really can't diamond it. I shoot it in hard, let it float up a lane or two, and then come back out low, as we're actually starting to make up a little bit of ground on Kyle Busch here. Do not want to let him have his third win in 6 races. So I see that lap traffic, and I'm starting to smile here, sitting in second a little bit. Now I know it's going to be a battle of who can get through lap traffic the best. As you see, Ryan Truex is holding him up a little. I do not want to get up underneath him and spin him, but I get a little loose. Throttle control is everything. I mean, you just want to mash it when you come off the corner, but we're starting to get on about 50% tires, so when you mash it, it wants to come around. But 3 wide going in the corner, so I have to slam the brake. I still myself am getting really loose off, as you can see, but I like to I'm not so aggressive. I'm trying not to wreck the leader. I want to, real as possible, I treat these cars like I'm broke, and if I put a scratch on it, I'm not going to be able to fix it. I might have to drive it next week with a scratch. So, you know, it just adds a little bit of fun factor into it. But not being too aggressive here, as long as I got Kyle on my sights as we're coming to 15 to go, 14 when we cross the line. I know a lot of people that would just drive it deep down in there and heck with it. I'm locked up on the brakes, so I don't get into the behind him. I've seen that M&M's Toyota 18 Joe Gibbs. He actually lets up and goes to the middle and gives me the bottom. See, but he crosses me right back over, and I get loose, and I have to let off big time not to take him out. And then slam the brakes big time again to not wreck him. So 13 to go. I got my work cut out for me. I got the 18 in front of me, a Kyle with the other Bush brother of Kurt right behind me, and we are in lap traffic. My car is not handling great at the moment, and we got 13 laps to get this W, and didn't know if it was going to happen, but we're going to see here as we work our way. Kyle Busch did what he did in stage 2 on us, put a little gap on us again, and Kurt is actually underneath me, making it even harder on me. My car is ill handling right now. I made it way too loose. Some of the track guys, they move up out of the way for me so I can try to run him down with 12 to go. Let's keep our eyes pictured on Kyle up here. I'm really starting to drive it harder because our time is running out. We're coming to 10 to go when we cross the stripe. As you can see, I've done lap Parker Kligerman like at least twice in this race, and we see Tyler Reddick up there. We've lapped him, but my best friend right now is Ryan Newman. He is holding Kyle up a lot, and that's helping me out an awful lot as we're coming to 9 to go right here. We need to swim bad. We do not want, but Kurt dive bombs me and actually gets up on his brother. I get really, really loose here, so I back off and just hope for the best. Slam on the brakes again. We're in heavy traffic. As you can see, the leaders, the Busch brothers, first 1-2, can't get around, and it's really tough here when you get into lap traffic. But we have a caution, first caution of the day. Must have happened behind us, but we're going to restart with about 7 to go, and that could be what saves my race. Can we get it here with 7 to go, or are we going to let Kyle win 3 out of the first races? He goes up to the middle, I'm diving to the bottom. That's where I like it. I like hugging the bottom. He dives it in real deep. I make a few little adjustments under that pit stop and tighten it back up because I was really struggling, loose off really bad. Like I said, you want to stay off that apron down there. It will bounce you up. But as you can see, Bowman, he has worked his way up in the second place with 5 to go. And Martin Truex has passed Kyle, so that is making me happy right now. The more spots I can put between me and Kyle, the better it's going to be at the end of the season, because I'm pretty sure the playoffs, Kyle's going to be, he's on a mission. As we come to 4 to go right here, looking back, and kind of opened up a little bit of a lead here. I'll stay with this view so you can see these guys trying to chase me down here. And we'll get 3 to go at the stripe. Bowman and Truex have both made their way around Kyle, so that's going to give me a lot of points since I won stage 1, stage 2. Not bad for a 7th place starting position. We're at lap 63 of 65 when we hit the line, so that's going to be 2 to go when we hit the line. Because you can see Kyle is making moves back there on Alex Bowman. He knows he's in a fight with me for the points lead, and the AI is really intelligent the way I got him set. He might even, see if we can get a better view here. Truex is still in second. We'll go off our back bumper view here. You guys can see him battle back there. Kyle is really battling his own teammate to get the second. 1 to go when we get to the line. We're on lap 64, 65. Right now, I'm just being really conservative. As y'all can see, get up to about 130 in second gear. Let it float. Back on the gas softly, and then punch it. Last lap, here we go. Is Kyle going to have anything for me or Martin Truex? But no, a caution comes out in the back of the field and gives me my second win of the season. I believe that ties Kyle Busch. We're fixing to go check the points out after this race, and I'm going to get you guys a setup. Like I said, you could probably hit 19.3s. My fastest lap of this race was a 19.4, which is a little harder when you're racing in the AI, but let's get to it. 105 speed rating, first place. Couldn't ask for more. Let's continue here. See, we got Roofer finishing first, Truex in second, Kyle Busch third, so that puts one spot between me and Kyle. Logano been strong fourth, Alex Bowman in fifth, Blaney sixth, Kurt dropped all the way back to seventh where we started, Denny eighth, Kevin Harvick ninth, Jimmy Johnson 10th, and Clint Boyer, our pole sitter, round out the top 11. I'd always check on Matty D because he has won a race. He ends up finishing 15th. He is going to be eligible for the playoffs. And let's see, now me and Kyle are both tied with 2 wins apiece. I got 14 playoff points to his 13. Brad is still in third with a win. So let's see. And then Matty D, all the way down to 18th, he has a win. So he is still in the qualifier. Let's get you guys this setup. Let's go over to Martinsville. As we celebrate, we're going to take that clock home. And I've always wanted one of those clocks from Martinsville. One of the best trophies in all of racing. I love it. Hard to get a win here with these guys set up as hard as they go. Like I said, fastest lap, 19.4. I led the most laps, 28. Didn't cause any cautions on myself. David Reagan started 39th, made his way up to 23rd. Ricky Stenhouse started 13th, made his way to 29th. So, alright, let's go ahead and get to this setup, guys. I believe you're going to like it. I'm on a wheel. You might have to adjust a few things, and I will go over that when we get into this setup, what you might have to adjust if you are on a not a steering wheel, but a controller. But like I said, guys, start thinking about this on these short tracks. 2-gear setups really work well. Don't sound right, but as y'all can just see, it got me my second win besides Daytona. Let's go back. Let's go to setups here. Let's see. Let's get to our quick race setup here for Monster Energy from Martinsville. We will use Slade's 21 Paul Menard car, and let's see, let's get to Martinsville here. As you can see, 105 speed rating, 2 wins out of 5 races. That was one of them, and I have one online as well. I believe this setup is going to help you guys out a lot. My Xfinity, I did the same thing, a 2-gear setup, and it's almost just as fast. It's only a couple tenths slower than my Cup setup. I believe that it's actually a little better handling than my Cup setup. So, but like I said, this is 105 speed rating. Anytime you get a setup with a 105 speed rating, you're going to be able to go out there. You're going to be competitive. You're not going to be able to hang all the time with the very top people. You know, you have to make these setups to your liking. like some of these top guys out there, like Smoke Fan and Beast of Asgard, some of the guys I've noticed there, top leaderboards, they're probably running 19.1s, 19.2s at Martinsville. But 19.3 is not bad at all. Here we go, custom setup, our custom race setup. I'm just going to show you guys that I do not have a custom qualify setup. So just so y'all can see, this is not, that's just as you look at the springs and all the bumps and shocks and rebounds and the rut front, I don't even have one. So let's go back and give you guys, this is what I use for the race. Pretty nice little setup. As you know, Martinsville is a pretty smooth track, so 3-4, 3-4, 3-4, 3-4 works really well. You want to braze those up if a track's bumpier. Me and myself, I learned a lot of this off of Red 4424s. I want to give him the credit for these setups because a lot of these setups I learned how to build off of his how to build a setup guide. But anyways, let's get down here to front weight all the way up to 53, but then the wedge at 48. You know, you can come down on that front weight, but you're going to have to go up on the wedge. Me personally, at a track like Martinsville and some of the road courses, I like having a lot of front weight. It makes it stick, turn real well. Springs, really stiff springs on the left side, right a little less. Tire settings. This is one thing that could have messed me up in the race. It was 1024. I went up on my right front, hoping that it would tighten it up, but I forgot I was supposed to go down. It actually, going up tightens it up, going down loosens it up, but I thought I had it backwards there. Here's your camber settings. This is more for, you can play with those a little bit for a league race. Track bar I took down. If you're still getting really loose off of exit, go down on your right track bar. I mean, you could go all the way to 8 if you're getting really loose. I'm going to keep it right there for me because I got it dialed in where I like it. Wheel lock, that's one thing you guys might have to change if you're on controller. In the gearing, like I said, first gear and second gear, that's the only gears I'm using. The rear end, I did have it 307, but I wanted a few more RPM out of it, so I went up to 310. And should be plenty of time for everyone to be able to get that. And now let me show you what I use on, let's make sure we save the setup back, and let me show you guys what I use for road courses and Martinsville on my options. Because if you have your throttle sensitivity up too high, more than likely when you go to press that gas, unless you have really good throttle control, you are going to spin out on exit, and that is not a good thing. It can ruin your race. Let's see, I'm going to go to the options real quick and just show you guys what I'm talking about here. I hope this helps some people out. Like I said, Red 4424 has some really great setups, and go over his setup guide. Said I'm on a wheel and paddle shifter. I do have a clutch, but I do not have the stick shift, so I do not run the stick shift. I run my effects about 2 clicks under halfway. Impact effects off because I don't like feeling the vibration through my wheel. Centering spring on. That's something I've used all the way since NASCAR Heat 3. I like the way it feels. Steering dead zone all the way down. And this is what I use, like I said, for like Martinsville and road courses. Steering range, I use that everywhere right there. Steering sensitivity, I always go 1 to 2 clicks up. Brake sensitivity, normally I have it all the way right here, but since I bought these new pedals that have, like I said, 60 pounds of pressure in them, I had to turn them way up, because if I had to press these things down all the way, I would have just been ramming through cars. And look at that throttle sensitivity, I took it all the way down. That's what I do for road courses and tracks like Martinsville that are tight, so when you get off the corner, you don't spin out. But thank you guys for tuning in to Dirty South Racing League. It's really our racing network. I'm sorry, it's really Dirty South Racing. We are part of Giggity Network. I'm just doing this myself, just to show you guys, you know, help some guys out with some setups that don't have 1 in 5 speed ratings. I will show you guys, well, here, I will go to my esports and show. I'm not a top guy in the game by no means, but when I do run the esports, I do not do the tracks I do concentrate on, I do alright. As you can see, I finished 44th in A at Atlanta, did not run Talladega, 28th at Road America, 33rd at ISM. I forgot to make a run at Kansas last night. I was in A class and did not run the finals because I hear the qualifying is going to be off until after the holidays. But I probably will lay down a lap for Michigan today. But everybody, man, thanks for viewing. And like I said, our next race is going to be, let's see where our next race is going to be. Texas. I might get this Texas done today. I might not. In turn 4, you have to have that set up just right, and drive just right in turn 4, or you'll lose it every time. But thank you guys for watching and tuning in to Dirty South Racing. Like I said, please subscribe, please share if you enjoy just watching the races, if you enjoy just getting the setup at the end. I appreciate it, man. This is MP Roofer on the PS4. And I'd like to thank you guys for watching, man. Y'all guys have a great day.